Hello there, I'm Roger Cox, and glad to be with you today. I hope you enjoy this video talking about not being desperate when you're network marketing. What I actually want to do though is this morning I read an article, and I just want to review that article for you because I thought it was pretty good. The title of the article was called Desperation, or no, actually it was called Networking. Desperation Does Not Pay. And I don't remember the name of the author. I forgot to get that. So I'm sorry if I'm plagiarizing here, but I just want to review this article and do it in my own words. He was actually talking about networking in a physical sense. You know, there's networking meetings where you go and you meet with people and you network with them and you pass around cards and that kind of thing. And that's actually the kind of networking he was talking about. But it applies so much to network marketing online as well. When you're talking to people on Facebook or when you're developing your network online, these three principles that I'm going to talk about, that he talked about, apply. And the first thing he said was you don't want to be a card dealer. Now, what he was talking about, when you go to these network marketing, I'm getting network marketing and networking confused here. But when you go to a networking meeting, some of the people that you see there their objective is to pass out as many cards, the business cards, as they can. They're just giving them to everybody. It's like a competition to see how many cards they can give out. And he says you don't want to do that because you look desperate when you're doing that. You look like you're a card dealer passing out cards in a poker game. I guess. I never played poker, so I don't know exactly how that applies. But that's what he said. He said there are people who, when they're doing their networking, they're like a poker player. They're just passing out cards and trying to get as many out as they can. And in network marketing, the way that happens is sometimes we try to develop our network and we just want lots and lots of numbers. And so we try to get people to follow us, to like us, to network with us, and we forget to build the relationship. Because if we don't build a relationship, it's like the poker dealer just passing out cards. And so you want to develop the relationship. You want to have you don't want to have a huge network, but there's no meat to it. You got to develop the relationships that are with that. And so that was his rule number one. It's don't be a card dealer when you're networking. The other thing he talked about was what he called the premature solicitor. And I'm sure you've run across these many times. And that's where in the networking that he was talking about, in a physical networking meeting, they rush right through the introduction. They say hi, they get your name or whatever it might be, and then they move immediately into trying to build their business. And sometimes we kind of do that same thing in network marketing business or online marketing. We will make contact with somebody, we'll make a connection with somebody, and then when we're desperate, when we come across as being desperate, then we start to try to sell them too soon. We approach them too quickly about our product or our service, and that really puts a bad taste, in your prospect's mouth. You really want to make sure that you're not giving the perception that the only reason that you want to be friends with them, or the only reason that you want to connect with them, is to sell them something. Because too often that's what people do, right? When you see them online and they're promoting their product, too many times it's the relationship is too superficial, and your prospect's gonna feel that. It's kind of like you have this commission breath coming out of your mouth. Hi, Anne Marie, I just see you popped up down there. And Diane, you just popped up there as well. Welcome to my video. And now you distracted me. I get distracted when ladies talk to me, okay? So we're talking about the premature solicitor. When you jump right into your sales presentation, or you try to sell them or pitch them, and all you've learned their name and maybe where they live, and you just jump right into trying to sell them right away. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's what this guy, I can't remember his name, that's what he called the premature solicitor. You got to find out what they need. You got to find out what their pain points are. If you can find out what really is bugging them, if they have some sort of pain point, like perhaps they want to lose weight, or they're self-conscious about their weight. If you have some way to address their pain point, some way to solve that problem, that's what you want to look for. And you don't want to pitch a product to them until you found that pain point and you're confident that your product or your solution will help solve that. Because otherwise you become the premature solicitor, where you're pitching your product without even really knowing whether the person needs it or not. And you might think that's pretty innocent and that's not really something you need to bother with. But if you look at this from the eyes of the prospect or your customer, they don't like it much. They don't like it at all. They feel like you're just trying to take advantage of the friendship or the relationship that you just built. So make it genuine. Don't be trying to sell them something right off the bat after you just made the relationship. You have to develop that relationship. Most of all, you have to find out if there really is a need, for what you have. That if it might solve their pain problem, for example. I've used this example before, but if you're selling Toyota Tundra trucks, the big monster trucks, you don't want to try to sell those to someone who thinks a Corolla is perfect for them. It's going to make you frustrated, and it's going to make them upset with you. So find out what their needs are first. Don't just start selling something without at least finding some pain point that you can solve, that you could make their life better. Okay, the third thing is the new best friend syndrome. And sometimes what happens is that you'll make a connection on Facebook or on Snapchat or on any of the other social media, and you get this feeling of, I've got someone new I can talk to. And the tendency is sometimes then for you to basically stalk them on social media. You follow them and you're looking at all their posts, you're replying to everything they say. You're basically moving in with them online, and you're just there all the time, and it's kind of like stalking. So you do want to follow up with people, but there's a fine line between following up with people and stalking them on Facebook, and you have to kind of figure that out. Where that line is, because if they feel like you're too aggressive, that you're trying to weasel your way into their personal life, they're going to run from you like nothing. They're going to be gone. You can't build a relationship like that. So you have to be really careful about the new best friend syndrome. You don't want to overwhelm them. Just because they're a new connection, don't smother them with your attention. And what I do is when I make connections on Facebook, I will find out what I'll just talk with them, find out what their hot point is. But after I've had a brief conversation with them, I won't contact them again for at least another 2 weeks at least, unless they've asked a question. Then I will answer the question, and so we'll keep the conversation going that way. But if the conversation comes to an end, I'm not going to try to start a new conversation with them every day, because that's going to feel like stalking. But what I do is I put a note in my customer relations manager to follow up with them, maybe a week or two, no sooner than a week. But if you space those out, a week or two, and some people, if the connection really wasn't strong, if it was just kind of a passing connection, then I won't follow up with them until probably about another month, and I schedule that out. So you don't want to, when you make a new connection, you don't want to become their new best friend and move in with them, so to speak, on Facebook or on any social media. You want to, it's kind of like in real life when you're making a new friend. You just when the time is right, and you'll know when the time is right. When the conditions are just right, you'll know when it's time to have a conversation with them. Don't force it. Just let it come natural. But you do follow up, but you don't push yourself on them. I hope that makes sense. So that's my video today. Again, for those of you that have come in late, I reviewed an article, and I've neglected to write the guy's name down that wrote this. The title is called "Networking Desperation Doesn't Pay," and in online marketing, it's a sure thing. Desperation does not pay. They can sense the desperation in your writing or in your voice, and if they feel that desperation, they're not going to buy from you just because you're desperate for money or you're desperate for customers. And so you want to be careful about putting forth that perception, and that includes going online and saying hey, I'm only 10 points away from my goal. I only got 20 points to reach this title. That's not a good way to promote, because then you're giving this you're projecting desperation. You're projecting that. So don't do that. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. I see Michelle's on there, and Anne Marie. Thanks again for watching. If you find this helpful, I'd really love it if you would share it, with people that you think might be a little desperate. But don't tell them you think they're desperate. Okay, just kind of nicely say, hey, here's a good video. This was really good. This goofy guy was on there talking about stuff. So you guys have a great evening, and we will talk to you later. Have fun. All right, bye.